Anywhere, anyway, baby, just...
Welcome back to another video, and today I'm changing it up a little bit and I'm going to give some advice on everything you need to know if you're going to put your Fabia Vrs on air ride. If you're new around here, then please be sure to smack that subscribe button. My name's Harry, I have got a bagged Fabia and I do a lot of other cool stuff in a unit with my mates, and we're only going up, so be sure to tag along. And if you are interested, and if you have clicked on this video, I'd imagine you're going to want to know what is involved if you're going to put your Fabia Vrs on air ride, or any other kind of similar platform cars to that as well. So starting off quick, we're going to talk about the installation. If we start off up top, up here where the whole main control unit is and the air tank. So I've got my air tank just bolted down on top of this false floor that I've got, and all the internals, the air compressor and the management is all sitting in where the spare wheel was, in the spare wheel well. Now, that's not necessarily the only place you can have all that type of equipment. You could have it next to the spare wheel. You could create your own little compartment, but personally, I've never needed to use a spare wheel. I'm happy to sacrifice that in order to have a bit of space to have the management and the control stuff. Now, the actual hardware installation process of all these bits I found was pretty straightforward. It's pretty much no different than fitting coilovers, if you've ever done that before. I'm not a qualified mechanic whatsoever, and I've managed to do this pretty simple with 1 or 2 nights work. It really didn't take too long. So the actual hardware installation only takes as long as fitting coilovers, which isn't even that bad of a job anyway. The long part comes with running all the lines from the management to the system. That is where I would definitely advise giving yourself a bit more time than I think you need. I certainly didn't do that, and I kind of paid the price. Now, what I mean by that is that I thought I had enough airline to run the length of the car, because obviously the airlines are sent through from the management system, which is in the boot, and it has got to reach the front ones as well. I didn't cut enough airline, I didn't buy enough, and I didn't have enough time to make sure I fitted it all right. So I had to throw it together with the airlines hanging down, and that's not what you want. So when you do come to the installation of it, just please make sure you do give yourself enough time to have the car in the air. If it's on a ramp, that's better. And then you've just got enough time to really have your airlines put in a secure place, and just make sure you're measuring it to the right size, because it was such a pain. I've had to replace the airlines like 2 or 3 times just because I've rushed it and not measured it correctly. In the rear, it's obviously a bit easier because the rear airbags are so close to the rear wheel well. You don't really need to worry. It's always, you're never going to really run out of line. But just make sure when on the installation, you check your airlines and just take that bit of extra time. You're not going to end up in a sale spot like I did. The other thing to talk about as well is what company you're buying the air ride kit from. Now, obviously, the main airlift company is Airlift Performance. Everyone's heard of Airlift, and that is what system this is. I was really lucky with my system. I got it second-hand in okay shape for £800. That's all singing, all dancing, everything included. Now, my system is old, it's over 10 years old. It does have the odd knock and bang, it's not perfect, but I don't mind that. I'm happy to sacrifice that for the price I paid. There are other companies out there that make them. I think there's Slam and stuff like that. Now, I've never personally used them, so I can't really make a comment on how good they are, but I would definitely kind of lean towards Airlift Performance, as they're so well known, you know you're not going to be left, hopefully, in any sales situation. I think a big question that everyone wonders, and that I get asked quite a lot, is, Harry, what does it drive like? And I'll be honest with you, it drives like utter shit. It really is not good. If you're planning on putting an air ride on your car and you think it's going to handle well, trust me, you're not right. It's not the one. Obviously, to make sure you're getting maximum lows at the front and at the rear, you have got to take your anti-roll bars out, which is what I've done. And obviously, as soon as they're out the window, handling's out the window. So that is just one thing to bear in mind, that it doesn't drive that well. Coming on to the next bit, we're going to look at fitment. What is fitment? That is how well your wheels fit when aired all the way out. It's the main thing. If you're going to a show and you ain't got good fitment, there's no point even being in there. Most people like that arch to lip fitment. I like that, and I've managed to kind of get that on the rear on the Fabia. But a big common problem, I don't know if it's the same on Mark IV Golfs or Ibizas or Polos or anything like that, but I do know for a fact on a Mark I Fabia VRS, you will have a fitment problem. It's a problem that I've got. It's a problem I'm going to show you. It's a problem I need to get checked out. If you look at how low this wheel sits here, you can still see a bit of tyre. Right, and then look around this side. Tyre's gone, pretty much. And this wheel sits way lower. That's because I need to do a chassis notch. I didn't even know what a chassis notch was before I bagged my car, and then everyone's been telling me, Harry, you've got a chassis notch, you've got a chassis notch yet. Now, a chassis notch is basically, on the offside of the car on these is the longer drive shaft. Now, where that drive shaft is sticking out the gearbox into the wheel, let's say this is gearbox, my elbow's the wheel. When you air out, obviously it's going like that because the center of the car is coming down, but the wheels are staying central. So it's going to go like that and that and that. And in between, it's really hard to explain, in between the drive shaft, you've got your chassis leg that runs across. And as the car's going down, 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 it only goes so much where your drive shaft hits your chassis rail. Basically, your drive shaft is fouling against the body of the car. How are you meant to fix that? Now, I'm not even joking when I say this. You cut a hole in your chassis to let the drive shaft pass through to make sure you get maximum loads. Sounds mental, but it needs to be done. Otherwise, it'll be like mine, where it sits all lopsided and wonky, and that ain't ideal. So in the next couple of videos, we're going to be getting the angle grinder and cutting a hole in the chassis of my car, which sounds awful, but it's got to be done, innit? It's got to be done. Well, whilst we're here, so that is another thing you got to think about. On the topic of fitment as well, what wheels are you going for? I've ended up with Fat 5s. I think they look pretty sick. So many cool wheel choices out there. I've seen so many people. You can get splits, 3 pieces, some proper sick stuff, which will look well. But I quite like this OEM Plus style look because obviously I still daily this car. I still drive to work in it. I still drive here to the unit in it. You know, it's not a project car. That is my daily driver. So I don't want £2,000 split wheels all stretched up and mad because that ain't dailyable, mate. Do you know what I mean? So that's another thing you're definitely going to want to think about. You might have been wondering what that noise was, and that was the air compressor that I was telling you about that sit in my wheel well. Now, obviously, where it's sat in here, and it's so tight under here, I would lift up and show you, but I can't. It rattles and vibrates, and that's another thing you need to think about, because in the morning when I start this car up, with that kicking off at 6 o'clock in the morning, my neighbours ain't happy, so that's another thing to definitely consider if you're gonna bag it. This is the ride height I go for. I think it's pretty reasonable, like still low, but definitely enough clearance to drive it on UK roads. As we know, UK roads are absolutely awful everywhere, so definitely want it high enough that you're not tucking everywhere, because you can get to air out and you can tuck hard, mate. But yeah, do I recommend it? Yeah, depends what you want. I had this car on Pilot Sport 5s, Polybush front end, Polybush rear anti-roll bar, way before I started making YouTube videos. I went to the Nürburgring in it, I hammered it, you know, took it on track, I gave it some beans, and it was great fun, and I feel like I've done that now. But these cars are not made for handling, in my opinion. They got a diesel engine, very heavy, very at the front, and as soon as you take out all that stuff in the rear, like the seats, you're so front heavy that the center of weight is so out, and it just spins up, and it's just not the one for track or handling. So if you're not going to be on track, you're not going to be handling, but you want to have a cool car, bag it. That was kind of my thought process. And yeah, I love it. You know, like you get so much attention with it, like Fabias in general. Obviously they're becoming a lot more of a popular car these days than they ever were, especially when you got one on bags. Like, you know what I mean? It turns heads, it's cool. It's not like everyone enjoys it. So yeah, if you are thinking about bagging your Fabia, I recommend it. If you've got a bit of money spared, you know what I mean? It's enjoyable, it's good, it's good fun. I hope that this kind of gives a bit of an insight into, if you're thinking about it, just take notes of everything that we kind of went through. You know, check the airlines, make sure you buy more airline that you need. Order an extra 3-4 meters on top of what you think, just do it. Think about, you are gonna have to cut a hole in your chassis if you don't want to do that, and also think about wheel choice. And it's not going to drive well, and there is a lot of stuff to think about. But I hope, yeah, that gave a bit of insight for everyone. If you want to bag your Fabia, in the next coming weeks, we've got a new car on the channel. The size of the engine of said new car is feral. So if you like Fabia content and you want to see me potentially drive the most ridiculous car you've ever seen, then definitely hang around. Definitely like this video if I gave you a bit of advice that is going to help. And smack the subscribe button. And I'll catch you later. Peace.